State here against Gumayusi and Keria. Their wave is going to get the push after they take control over these last couple of minions, as Doran continually pushes Bwipo in up here in the top side, but he's not really choking Bwipo out of a lot of minions either. Honestly, all the lanes going pretty even.
Yeah, congratulations to the GOAT, Faker, 300th international game, as you saw there. And doing just fine in the opener.
Okay, a little bit of a catch there. Nice tangle barbs from Busio to put some damage onto Gumayusi as they crash the wave into the turret. Now Busio will be able to potentially look to clear out some wards or establish some vision, but no, instead just going to be another recall here. The double recall from Masu and Busio, just to make sure that they can get that purchase in while they've got the crash.
And now everybody, rightly so, hypes up Bard roams, but Nico roams are huge as well. And so off of this early reset, it is going to be lane swaps for both sides. So they're honestly, with the tunnel making up the extra couple of seconds, they're almost identically timed here, even with the slightly earlier recall for the FlyQuest bottom side. So Magical Journey is good for them. They get out here a couple of seconds. Bwipo even pulls the extra couple minions for Masu here, though, before he goes for his resets. Just leave those right there. So that is going to generate a slow push for FlyQuest. And let's see how they use this, because this is also going to mean the junglers are going to reset up to this side of the map too. Inspired here. Inspired actually heading out through mid lane instead of heading back towards the top side immediately. So keeping his options open, while Owner opts for the control ward on Dragon first before going for his delayed recall. And looks like they are just going to continue to keep the pressure. Yeah,
early Earth Dragon being #1 here generally dissuades super early Dragon takes just because of the tankiness of that objective compared to other dragons. Inspired will go ahead though and drop the flag inside of the pit, clear out that control ward, but then immediately back away. They know that there might be a couple of problems around here, so they're taking their time, but no. Okay, just dragging it out slightly. Quad waiting around this area to see if Faker's going to walk anywhere close to that brush. Doran's making his way over, though, and Bwipo's ready to follow.
So is Owner.
Okay, FlyQuest, they're going to have 3 men here first, but T1's bringing in the cavalry. It's going to be Doran here, your initial target. Quad, however, targeted by T1. Doran losing about half HP. Bwipo's still looking for more. He's got Doran in the death realm, but Keria's Bard has made his way in here with the Summoner Spellbook teleport. Keria showing up, looking to make the difference. Doran down to 200 HP with Bwipo's flashback over the wall. Quad trying to escape, and he has to flash now too. It's the Keria Bard difference, looking to change the fight as Quad wants to get out here through the realm lord, but he does manage to escape. Doran still looking for a little bit more. He wants to go all out, and Inspired has to flash to survive. Somehow nobody's dead either way, but the extra man for T1 gives him control and wins them this dragon.
Yeah, FlyQuest are able to peel and delay long enough. Initially, the Mordekaiser ult onto the Cassante allows them to peel. Quad's able to survive. Then some antics here with their flashes on the Dragon Pit. They actually do all survive in the end, despite the Summoner Spellbook teleport being a big difference maker there for T1, getting the extra numbers. FlyQuest still all get out alive, as you say, and since it resets the dragon, and it's a mountain dragon which is so tanky, it would kind of ruin your tempo, your timing on the map to stick around for it, and so they all go for resets in the aftermath.
And the reason that tempo and timing is so important, my friend, is because everybody's favorite early game objective, the Grubs, just about to spawn here in 5 seconds. You can see a T1 ward in the Grub Pit already, but Inspired and Masu already hanging around. You've also got Busio up here, disguised as Masu #2, well, Masu #3, now there's also a clone. Owner has arrived, though.
Which one's your favorite?
I like all of them.
I like the original.
Oh, yeah, you're going with the original article. I respect that. Inspired, starting up these Grubs, though, does want to be able to secure at least the first one. Oh, but it starts to reset and lose patience. So FlyQuest, they don't manage to get anything other than just a low health Grub. And it's T1 with control over the pit now as Owner starts the objective.
He needed like one more auto on that thing. It barely did not get tick under 600. And he has the original smite there. So Inspired's not able to steal away that one Grub that was getting quite low, and T1 will just collect them.
Yeah, that's a super, super close margin that it actually ends up being potentially pretty significant here for the side of T1, as having all 3 of the Grubs, having the extra damage onto the turrets and the ability to spawn the Void Mites could mean that if they get some early tempo in this game, they get some early push in the side lanes, they could really cause some problems, because you're also already working with a team comp that has a Taliyah, that has a Bard, that has these champions that can really provide threat from a long way away. away, and T1 could be in a good spot to set up some good turret plate money farming now, but Faker's gonna get caught out here with the tangle barbs. Busio locks him up a little bit, but Tempered Fate guarantees that Faker is not gonna die here today.
This is support gameplay, Flowers. Busio makes a play mid lane. Keria throws the Bard ultimate, and actually it does land on the Faker. Not going to be any sort of follow-up plays here. As now these supports fighting over wards, and this is something that we have just hyped up all year long in LTA North, soon to be LCS. Busio making so many plays. And him going versus Keria really is a dream. He looks up to Keria so heavily, as so many supports do. And it honestly is just like an honorable move, I feel like. All right, fine. You can have Bard. I'm going to take Nico. May the best support make the better plays. You know, it's actually really cool to see what we can get in this game. And Whippo's Brush Camp does get Guma's ult out.
Yeah, Guma puts a lot of damage back into Whippo, though, on the exit route, so Whippo not feeling confident about trying to find anything more here onto Guma Yushi, is hanging around in hopes of catching the wave. Quad versus Doran up in the top side in the meantime, as Busio ready to follow up here. Guma Yushi now in some danger. The death realm has been unleashed, and Whippo's going in after the T1 AD carry. Guma Yushi's about to get taken out, but he gets away on a magical journey. Whippo's chase is overdone, and it's first blood to carry his bar.
Oh, Whippo just used his Q on the other side of the tunnel, but then he still goes in the tunnel, and it's right where Keria wanted him. That was not a magical journey that Whippo wanted, and he goes down. He got hyped up. He was so close there, but close does not count. Guma Yushi still had flash. Guma Yushi was just drawing him in. So they get the kill. That is one kill for T1. Looks like the Dragon will be picked up afterwards, though, for FlyQuest. So Whippo had done a lot of work. He set himself up with the brush camp. You know, he got Guma Yushi's, Zai ult down. But here, the barrier goes out, and then he takes the magical journey. Like, he got out of the Mordekaiser ultimate and takes it and avoids that Q. And then after that Q is used, like, just don't. You don't really have any more as Mordekaiser, right? That's your damage right there. So, anyways, goes through, goes down, and it is one kill for Mountain Dragon, though. So, Flowers, they do get something afterwards there for FlyQuest.
But still, man, T1, you got to be sure when you go in on those plays. Guma Yushi waiting until the last possible second to use the barrier, and it's just enough to save him from that last auto attack that Whippo was able to land, then getting away with the help of Keria. You love to see it. And these hero plays from supports are just so fun to watch.
And that's what you expect from, you know, the players on T1 on the international stage. Guma's like, yeah, I still have my flash. I'm chilling here. You know, you can get close. I'm not going to go down, though. I can calculate your damage. You know, I'm going to just be able to avoid this. And he does not panic under pressure at all. And that results in the first kill of the game. This is not going to completely change the game, though, Flowers. So still very tense, very exciting one here that we have ahead of us.
You know what does often change games of League of Legends, however, is Rift Herald fights. I feel like there are so many games that go from razor's edge to completely one-sided after a Rift Herald fight that one team takes when they shouldn't have taken it. And that Rift Herald is going to be spawning here in about 2 minutes. So what I want to do is check in on the status of where both teams are at, because a lot of first items are completed now. Doran has his Kaenic Rookern to lane against Whippo's Mordekaiser and make him much more effective. Now Keria is using the Tempered Fate on Inspired here immediately, stuns him into the wall with a Cosmic Binding. Nobody else on T1 is close enough in time, though, so they're just going to get a little chunk of damage onto Inspired at the cost of Keria's Bard ult.
I want to point out that FlyQuest are split pushing during this time, so they're actually getting some leverage on the bottom side. This is split push Rise, so Quad already up at the turret, working on a turret plate for himself, pushing the minion wave in, and T1, they committed to that play on the top side with everyone. Owner's trying to make the most of it with a blue steal.
Yeah, he wants to get it, but Inspired has the better smite. Now Busio using the Pop Blossom, tries to find enough, but instead he only finds his way into the grave. Another kill of a T1 as Inspired has to try to escape with the Weaver's Wall from Faker. Wants to lock him up. Inspired wants to sidestep the seismic shove, but no way! 3-0 T1 as they claim the feat of warfare.
T1 do make the most of it. They go for the blue steal, and even though they don't get the blue buff originally, they just kill you and take it off your body, even though Inspired was able to smite it away. Owner ends up with it.
Mayushi ready to play aggressive here against Masu on that Kai'Sa. You talked about how many times at Worlds in the past we've seen the Kai'Sa versus Xayah matchup. If you lock these in, you got to be ready to play aggro when you know you're stronger, and that's what I love to see. What I was saying before we got the fight, I guess I'll say it after the replay, because here we go again with Owner going in.
Exactly. So they go in on Busio. Busio uses the ultimate, but Owner just cyclones on him. They take him down immediately there. And then on the chase through here, Keria not able to hit the flash there with the Cosmic Binding, but Faker's got his back. Don't worry. Got the seismic shove here on Inspired. They get the extra kill as well.
Okay, so 15 seconds until the Herald spawns. Both junglers got those first items completed. Masu versus Gumayushi here in the mid lane. Guma down to about 30% HP. Void Seeker knocks him down to 300. Masu, however, also losing his HP down to 400. Flashing away from the Tempered Fate, recognizing that would have surely been a death sentence if he gets caught in it and they can set up after.
Yeah, really good stuff here from T1. You know, Guma setting up the possibility of Keria using the ult to burn the flash there. They trade heavily. Guma, once again, not scared. And in the end, Keria comes in. Bard ultimate for Kai'Sa Flash is exactly the value that you want. So they can make some repeat plays there now on Masu. Masu's got to be careful.
So I want to go back to what you talked about in the draft, because you had the copy pasta from Keria talking about how FlyQuest is a good team, but if I get barred, Inspired's not going to be able to step foot onto the Rift. Well, we are 15 minutes into the game. The Herald is spawned. Yeah, Inspired's doing that right now, but he's 0-1 and 0. No plays made, while Owner goes for another one down here in the bottom lane, looking to maybe take out Quad, who goes for the Realm Warp to escape. Busio coming up to try to help him, but Keria is also here. Redemption comes down, and Quad is dead. Faker taking a kill on that one as FlyQuest want to try to find something else back. It's Masu moving forward, trying to cut off the escape from Keria and Owner, but they go on a magical journey and they're already getting away. FlyQuest are too slow on the move, and Inspired is caught by Doran as he tries to take the Rift Herald, and that's almost a kill, but Inspired gets away there as the third and Tofo strike won't connect. Now Faker looking for maybe another kill here on Busio. Whippo wants to help him. Tangle Barbs won't hit, but the flash into the Death Realm. Whippo wants Faker, but he is denied. Faker making distance, but ultimately shut down. Now Owner's gonna try to get away. The Mordekaiser post-Death Realm is very powerful, but he already used his flash. He cannot catch up. Busio wants to go in for the Pop Blossom, and he finds it, but he's about to die. Keria and Gumayushi on the approach. Whippo rooted up under turret. T1 pick up both. It's a 6-1 game.
T1 in the scrap come out ahead again. And it all started with a really beautiful dive that they did on Quad. They kind of trapped Quad, and then Keria played it really well on Bard. He knows he's trying to Realm Warp out, so Keria camps the Realm Warp, and he uses his Spellbook Exhaust first. He does not immediately Cosmic Binding. He uses the Exhaust, waits out the slow, delays so that the rest of T1 can come help with the dive. Meanwhile, though, Doran here.
And Doran working hard to defend this tier 1 turret. Inspired and Quad wanting to force it down, but they've only got it down to about 10% HP. They can't quite finish the kill. Doran holds the line, again getting back up from his team. T1 is so good at making sure that whoever's going to be under pressure has backup when they need it.
And currently, T1 are just outplaying in a lot of these skirmishes. They're just outplaying in some of the scraps that they've had. You know, the jungle, invade on blue on the top side after they re-engaged it, speaking of.
Okay, Quad being smacked around by Doran here a little bit, does not want to deal with that melee range Cassante. This is one of the problems with picking the Mordekaiser and the Ryze as the two solo lanes when you've already seen Cassante. The Koenig Rookern first item has so much value, and it just allows Doran to play so aggressively because the enemy mages can't trade back effectively.
Exactly. I mean, that is a lot of magic resist stacking here for Doran. So it works well into both of the solo laners, both of the split pushers, as you are saying. Meanwhile, Keria's going to go up there and lend Doran some extra support.
I don't even know if Doran needs it, Kobe. Quad's already down, and that's a kill for the Cassante. 7-1 for T1. These guys are showing FlyQuest a harsh lesson here in their first game at Worlds. T1's warmed up, like you said. They already got their practice in. They are ready to go.
They certainly are. A lot of these skirmishes, a lot of these side lane plays, even with Keria throwing out some of these Cosmic Binding splashes, doesn't matter. They still find the kill in the end.
Oh, Keria's just messing with him at this point. Busio jumping forward, looks for the Pop Blossom. Meanwhile, down here in the bottom lane, bit of a problem for Bwipo. At least they got the shutdown onto Keria up in the top side at the same time. Bwipo wants to try to get one kill before he comes out of the death realm, but it's not gonna happen. The grasp can't quite find the kill, and that means that Owner survives, and it's more money in the T1 pockets, a 1-for-1 across the map.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to push the wave right after that as well. Although FlyQuest did, in the end, punish Keria having no flash on the Bard, Busio, Super Blast Cone, is able to set it up for Masu and Killer Instinct. That may be a small ray of hope there, Flowers, for FlyQuest. Getting the one kill onto Masu, getting some money here into the Kai'Sa. I mean, this is a dive, composition with the Jarvan, with the Nico, and the Kai'Sa. So maybe they can do some like side lane plays. After all, maybe they can make some picks to follow up. It is 2-item power spike for Masu.
Having the Kraken Slayer, the Ginsu is very powerful together. Speaking of 2-item power spikes, yes, both of the items are fully built, but they're not both fully complete for Quad. Still needs 3 more stacks in the Rod of Ages, but does have the fully evolved Seraphs, so the Rise is getting pretty powerful himself. Faker's Talia, however, still ahead in gold, 2-1 and 3 on that pick. Still deathless for Owner on the Wukong here too, doing very well into this Jarvan that, remember, was first picked for the side of FlyQuest and inspired the playmaker, right? The player of the year in the LTA. 0-1 and 0 on the Jarvan, has not been able to find those angles, not been able to find those plays in these first 20 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah, I think a lot of them have been just team pressure from T1 and outperforming in the skirmishes, and now it's resulted in all 3 of these outer towers down, Flowers, so there's not a lot of room to work with for FlyQuest. The map is quickly going under T1 control.
All right, T1 trying to force their way further into the enemy jungle, but the Realm Warp into the immediate Pop Blossom. It finds Owner, but nobody else. Now Gumayusi under a little bit of pressure here on the side. Inspired goes in with the Cataclysm, but Busio's first to die. Owner still trying to get away. Flashes into the rush to buy a little bit more time, but Acathian Rain gets him. T1 still got more men. Quad in the middle of everybody, and he's cut down by the blades of Gumayusi. Bwipo's in the death realm for a little bit longer. He'll take out Keria, but what about afterwards? There's no way to survive a triple kill for Guma, and T1 team fighting takes them down.
Masu's still here, but the rest
Not
of
so long.
The rest of T1 are going for the Otacon, Masu going for the execute. Or getting for the escape.
Yeah, maybe he can get away,
He's
actually.
good.
All right. Well, as long as he doesn't greedy recall and get stuck somewhere.
Yeah, he's chilling. Meanwhile, the Otacon, as you can see, being taken by Faker and Guma. It is a little dicey, but you can avoid those spells pretty easily. Just stick in towards the center.
Oh, you can hear the reaction from the crowd. It was close to Doran nearly finding Masu on the escape there. But that is Otacon secured for T1 after this team fight that kind of went a little bit crazy.
Okay, so FlyQuest aside, you know what? This is our moment to try and make a counterplay. They have overcommitted into our jungle. Let's Realm Warp. We try and do Realm Warp, Nico ultimate. It does catch Owner, but that's it. And they get the Keria kind of delay ultimate here. Meanwhile, as soon as they come out of it, even though FlyQuest can chase down that kill, Inspired tried to kill Guma, so on the left side, it was Jarvan going after Guma, but there was no follow-up there, so Guma's able to kill him, and then the other side of the fight was so delayed, so chased, that T1 pick up the extra kills. They increase their gold lead. Here we go, another play for FlyQuest.
Yeah, Inspired stepping very far forward here and about to die. The Cosmic Binding as he gets back over the wall. Buys enough time for Faker to take him down. Yes, there's a Pop Blossom, but T1 has already won the fight. Busio goes over the wall, and Quad goes back to the spawn platform. Masu's next. T1 are just playing better. Back in the mid lane, Bwipo at least tries to find something here in Gumayusi. He's got him in the death realm. The feathers fly, but the Xayah dies. A shutdown to Bwipo, but Doran's not gonna let it go unavenged, as Bwipo is the last to fall, and T1 get an ace for 2.
They chase them all down, Flowers. Now T1 alone on the Rift with their minions will be able to celebrate. Owner's just going to take away the rest of your jungle camps afterwards. And it continues to be scrappy, but it continues to go the way of T1. This one, Busio and Inspired trying to pull a little pincer here. Quad actually goes right up, but look at the immediate response. Inspired just got decimated as he went in onto Faker. And you see the redemption? After the redemption, they were full health after that attempt. So T1, no problem, kind of counter-attack there. And in the end, they trap all of the FlyQuest members. Nobody can even get out after that play. And then Keria teleporting afterwards out of there with his spellbook. And they actually just pick them up on all sides. Though, Whippo got the shutdown onto Gumayushi.
Well, that's something, but they're going to need a whole lot more. Keria getting caught out here a little bit, but where's the damage from FlyQuest? Tempered Fate doesn't really get anything here. Third and Topo strike. Knockback into a knockdown. Inspired's out of there. And T1 continue the push. Masu gets slowed down. Pop Blossom onto 2 to buy a little bit more time, but it's a double kill for Owner. Meanwhile, Doran trying to create a little bit of space, does end up dying, trying to kill Masu off. Quad on the side, tries to use Realm Warp for the escape and gets away. Gumayushi's gonna die to Whippo, but now he's in the back line. 1v3! He gets a double with a mace to the face for Keria. The fight is bloody as we have 3 dead on either side.
I like that FlyQuest are refusing to stop fighting. They will continue to just fight their way out of this. I mean, objective bounties are up, so Whippo scrapping here. Whippo getting the double kill, running through and killing Guma again, opens up the opportunity, even though they're gonna lose this Dragon Flowers. It is only the 2nd Dragon for T1, so that's a long timer towards the Dragon Soul. And with objective bounties up, it means that Quad is able to capitalize. That is a solo tower for the Rise. It is objective bounty boosted, extra gold there, and he's working towards his death cap. So while this is certainly T1 favored, certainly we're still riding, you know, that hype train there. FlyQuest did get some comeback mechanics going for them there. Whippo really pulling a lot of pressure and opening up a possible avenue for a FlyQuest comeback.
And that is one thing that we have always said about Whippo, watching him throughout the year in the LTA, especially in the context of FlyQuest running a 6-man roster this year, is when you compare Whippo to other players, Whippo will make something happen. That can be good, that can be bad. It all depends on the day. But he's not a player who's going to sit back and just watch the game unfold.
And I actually do love the Hexplate builds for Mordekaiser. You always have the Shy like destroy a Nexus with that one, but it got really popular when they just buffed up Hexplate and just like turbocharged the juice that you get when you do activate your ultimate. And so like with all that speed, you just really get in there, and it does provide a lot of threat, and he's using that to go towards Guma, and then he even is hitting these claws to get extra value after coming out too. So yeah. I mean, he's going for it on Doran here, but I mean, it's a full, Cassante there with the Canic Rooker that you mentioned, so it's hard to soften up a Cassante, even in that side lane. Of course, he does know, even if people try and go gank him while he's split pushing, Mordekaiser always has the option of just ulting someone else who tries to gank him. And then you go at least 1 for 1, and then sending extra resources towards you usually means that your team can get something on the other side.
So Baron's up now, no Dragon for the next 3 minutes. This is probably going to be our next battlefield, but that battlefield is now very interesting because the death cap is completed for Quad's Rise. You've got the Arm Guard completed for Busio's Nico to be able to make those haphazard engages without the immediate consequence, but at the same time, Owner's got Guardian Angel. The Wukong can fly in there without worrying about dying. There's so many powerful tools that have been recently purchased for both sides. This fight, however it happens, I feel like there's going to be a lot of gray screens.
Yep, and T1 want to force the issue here. They're going to start up the Baron. They've got some big advantages. Faker as well has a lot, 9 stacks on his Dark Seal. Can he get a seismic shove? They're actually burning the Baron down.
The Baron's going to go down. The Pop Blossom lands. They found some damage onto Faker, and Masu's already assassinated him, but the Baron is gone. Gumayushi goes through the wall. The rest of T1 trying to get away with their Baron, but the Realm Warp wants to bring him in. A seismic shove to stop it. Owner's going to be caught out now as he tries to re-engage on Masu. He's alone behind the FlyQuest lines, and more damage from Whippo is going to at least get his Guardian Angel. Now T1, the remaining 3 players scattering back away as Owner tries to use the Blast Cone to escape, and he will do it. T1 takes the Baron and then trades 1 for 1.
That is a Guardian Angel right there, Flowers. That value, he just barely got over the Brambleback wall before the Guardian Angel procs, so he gets back up and he's able to escape out the backside. FlyQuest looking like they were going to be able to collect some kills after T1 take down the Baron, but they only got the 1 at the very beginning here. It is on a Faker, so it does cut down on some of the stacks, but the escape enabled by this magical journey. Guma's able to flash into the magical journey. Owner takes it out as well. And then the Realm Warp threat here, they do go for the Bard ultimate from Keria because of that one. And then Owner, even though he does get Mordekaiser ult positioned right against the wall, just barely clones over, and then he escaped, as you know, in the end, which results in T1 with the Baron buff. So a lot of pushing power left for them. And with all that extra gold from Baron now too, feels way more solid for T1.
So Red Bull Baron power play currently at about plus 1,800, so only a little bit more than the default value of claiming the Baron, but I'm sure they have plans for this next minute and a half to gain more value out of that. Doran sidestepping the Death Grasp, trying to just make sure that he doesn't take too much damage here as FlyQuest tries to get something on him. But it's quickly becoming more and more difficult, Kobe, for FlyQuest to find angles or opportunities.
Yep, I would say he accomplished that goal, Flowers. He took almost 0 damage. They barely got through the Kennebrooken shield by the time that he walked away. Here we go, though.
Quad gonna be your target. Faker rides the Weaver's wall, trying to put the pressure onto the enemy mid laner, while Owner distracts everybody else on FlyQuest here at the same time. Remember, no GA anymore, and Whipple's got him trapped in the death realm. Shut down for the Mordekaiser, and FlyQuest are looking for a little bit more. The chase is continuing, but they can't quite find any angle here. The Realm Warp is available, but there's not quite the range. Now carry the target here from Whippo. Tempered Fate hits nobody. Whippo in the middle of everything. He dies before he can find the shield as T1 trade one back. Now another seismic shove, not gonna hit Inspired with that one. Masu looking for an opportunity to fire off here with a Kaisa, but he cannot get close. It's so dangerous up against Faker's Talia.
That was great from Keria, just using his own body to create that play. He knows Mordekaiser ult just was used to kill off Owner, and so he goes in and he actually makes it a 1-for-1, allowing T1 to answer. But now, the Dragon.
Okay. Dragon started by FlyQuest, but immediately responded by T1. Another seismic shove, this time onto Busio. Pop Blossom with no value. Chemtech Drake over to Gumayushi. Doran trying to get away. Busio at 100 HP. Gumayushi still looking to step forward. Nice shove there under Quad, but they aren't going to kill him here just yet. Seraph's Embrace shield keeps him alive. Realm Warp for the defense. Masu's going to try to get away with that as Inspired uses EQ to get over the wall. Now a teleport coming in from T1. It's Doran looking to cut him off at their own tier 3 turret here in the bottom lane. The Weaver's Wall delays Quad and Masu, and now Doran stands between them and safety. Whippo's trying to help out his team as Quad looks to turn it around. They found a route on a Faker, and Quad takes him out. FlyQuest continue trying to get away, but Owner has arrived. His clone, Cyclone, kills Inspired, and Quad barely gets away over the wall. Owner's still looking as Whippo has to flash. Masu continues to run on the third, and Tofo Strike doesn't hit, but T1 still has the push.
T1 chasing them across the map, and now they're inside the base, Flowers. Finally, 24 kills to T1, and they will be able to take the inhibitor.
Inhibitor number 1 is down, and T1 is not done. Mid lane tier 2 turret, the next target here, as Doran's just gonna step forward, start putting the autos into that one. The rest of the team is right behind him. They'll shove up this wave. The extra power, those void grubs that we talked about earlier, allowing him to just bulldoze these structures. And again, Whippo in some danger. Does have the stasis to keep himself alive this time, so not another kill for T1 here just yet. Tier 2 turret remains alive as well. Busio taking a decent little chunk of damage there from the Blade Caller. But again, man, every single time it looks like FlyQuest might be getting something. T1 gets something back. Let's take another look at how everything happened.
How Guma is able to lay down some feathers and take the Dragon. So Faker spaces Busio really nicely, by the way. Inspired tries to slip back in, but Guma stole yesterday Dragon with Yunara. He steals one with Zaya this time. And obviously he's done it with Varus, but anyways, back to the actual fight there. They started out with really nice spacing on Busio on the, well, let's take a look at this one as well. Keria able to find him as on the backside. We didn't get that one, but that's a nice little support versus support action there. I guess punishment for letting me have the Bard. And then that was a really fun call out where you talked about the super blast cone actually hitting Inspire into the clone that was already spinning to finish off.
Yeah, that was wild.
Just needed a tiny bit of extra damage, and it was like this ping pong ball that goes right.
Some Beyblade action. I have no idea. I don't think I've ever seen that before, but that was cool. It is a 6,000 gold lead still for the side of T1. Gumayushi securing that last Drake with his Blade Caller also means that they are on soul point. 2 minutes from now, they'll be able to fight for the soul, and FlyQuest are going to feel compelled to try to defend it. But before that, just 15 seconds until the next Baron spawns, and it's T1 with immediate control over the area. FlyQuest want to step forward here, but Doran's doing a great job being the space creator, being the one who prevents anybody else on FlyQuest from stepping forward towards Gumayushi, towards Faker, towards anybody, and FlyQuest really have to pick their moments carefully on how they want to step up. Busio clone walks past the control ward, no seismic shove to find any value here just yet, but the Baron is spawned, and T1 is ready to start it up. Doran and Keria are going to be running interference, and Owner and Gumayushi just melt this thing. Weaver's Wall won't allow FlyQuest anywhere near it, and T1 has already claimed the objective. Now Whippo Bravo's got to try to stay alive. Pop Blossom finds Faker. Gumayushi's already killed Buzio. Masu flew into the back line, but he crash landed. And T1 tears them apart. FlyQuest thought they could take that fight. They thought they had to, but T1 would not let it happen. It's a clean ace, and they're on the game-winning push.
Yep, Garrett takes care of one tower for his second, and the rest of T1 arrived to finish the job.
FlyQuest had a tall task, and they could not stand up to the moment. T1 prove why that